Hello everyone, it's Arthur Link with another hand-drawn video just for you. Today I was reminded of something I told a friend while we were doing parkour once. He was talking about how, for some reason or another, he just never ate enough. He didn't have enough money to buy food, or, he just had too long between meals because he was busy. And I told him, it's all right. Stay hungry, my friend. And he really liked that. And so that was years ago, but today, a combination of my training and understanding of energy has increased. And I wanted to talk a little bit about why this is so important to do. There's all sorts of, physiological reasons I'm sure that you're aware of, or maybe just some common sense. Don't stuff yourself, right? But the energetic component, let's say that, everything is energy in a different form, and we fill ourselves up. This is our energy tank right here. And, I was watching a video that was helping me with eating habits, and it says, eat till you're 70 or 80% full. It's like, okay, what is that, right? So for those of us who can't measure the contents of our stomach in percentages, I wanted to make this little diagram. So let's say you eat, and you get to this black line right here. That's the 70, 80%. What does that feel like? Well, I would say it's this kind of tipping point where you're satisfied, right? You have food in your belly now. All this below it was hunger. And then you reach this and it's like, all right, I've eaten. I have food now. Now there's this last 20%. And normally, what do? Because we still feel this void. It's like, well, I'm just going to keep eating. Now we're full. The issue with that is that we are filling ourselves up completely with food. And, like I said, beside all the physiological reasons and the stress on the organs or whatnot, now we no longer have this gap. We no longer have this hunger or desire to fill it with energy from other nourishing sources. And so that's going to lead us to, well, you know how you feel when you're stuffed, right? You kind of don't want to do anything. Just lay around. Be passive. So we can fill that last gap with all sorts of things. In esoteric terms and energetic terms, it's like, well, if you went out for a walk and you still have this space, now the gap is filled with beauty, with a sort of spiritual nourishment. And because we still have that gap, we still have that hunger to take in. So we'll take in the beauty and wonder all around us because we have that emptiness. And that's, much more nourishing, much more balancing to our spirit, rather than we're just maxed out and we have to wait until we kind of process and digest all this. So now I'm going to draw one more, because it's important for us to figure out why we in particular fill that gap from satisfied to full. And there's plenty of reasons, so it's good to examine ourselves. We might be tempted to fill that due to a fear of scarcity. A fear that, if I don't fill up now as much as I can, who knows when I'll eat again, right? And I'm not saying of course it's not a rational fear, right? It might be, if you're in a certain living situation. But even if you have plenty of money and plenty of food, it could just be an irrational scarcity fear that's deeply embedded for one reason or another. So you fill it up for that reason. I know I fill it up mostly because of efficiency, in the sense that in the West we just make too much food, and then I don't want it to go to waste. So it's like, I'll just eat past that point because I still have room, and I don't want to have to deal with leftovers, or I don't want to throw things away, this, that, or the other. And there's probably a lot more reasons than that, of course. And so we can start to make some antidotes to these, right? If you don't want to have waste and you want to be efficient, you can make less food. And that can be hard. But I'll show you a trick. This is actually from my stepmother. Because our mind, we've eaten so much and we know basically what will fill us up and what it won't. But we can still play subtle tricks on our mind. She made like a plate of food, and she saw when I looked at it that, it wasn't really going to fill me up. And she says, I can put it on a smaller plate if you want. And so you can make it look like there's more food. Like if I had put this on a larger plate, to compare, it looks like, that's just barely a side dish. That's like a little bit of fruit, some yogurt. But if it's all in this nice little contained bowl, it's like, oh, this is my whole meal. Just the shape of it is able to trick my mind into thinking, all right, there's a lot of food here because the whole bowl itself is filled. So you can do little tricks like that just to fill, visually up your plate, and just reduce your portion size so that you can reliably start to hit this mark. Now, the other great thing about this practice is that, if you're traditional in the West and you eat 3 times a day, you get 3 chances every single day to eat only this much of your capacity, and to leave that blank space to fill it in with beauty or other nourishment, or even like a good book, right? So it's not like meditation where if you didn't do it one day, or I haven't done it all week or whatever, you fall behind. It's like you're going to eat if you're alive, and you're going to have those chances come up again and again and again. Like, all right, I don't want to overeat. I don't want to numb myself out. That's another reason. If you're stuffed, you don't really feel the feelings that are trying to be processed, because now your body has to divert resources to processing all this. Whereas if there's that emptiness, it will be filled with the emotions trying to rise to the surface to be processed. And you get, like I said, so that's just focus on your 3 chances, get better and better every day at finding this sweet spot for you, whatever that feels like, whatever markers you use. And it's a practice like everything else, you'll get better at it. Some days you'll fall off, other days you'll be in a setting where it's very difficult to not go all out, and that's fine too. It's just the more often you hit this mark, the more efficient your body is going to work and digest food and process things, so that you can get more energy out of less food, because your relationship with food will evolve and change. So that's about it for this video, and stay hungry, my friends.